Getting good at clock can be easy but hard at the same time if you keep practicing it the wrong way. If you are following the beginner's method, then you might be drawing the clock upward to the 12 on both sides. But this kind of flip takes a lot more time than usual. So what I recommend, you solve the clock to this left side, keeping the 12 dial on the left, and flip the clock just like this. Now, if you are used to solving the dials to the up, it may take some time to get used to solving it to the left, but after you get used to it, your time will be decreased by a lot. You have to follow a fixed pin order for solving the front cross, back cross, and the corners individually. If you just don't have any fixed order, then you will just jumble in the solves and it will take more time thinking what to do. So here is what I do for the pins. So first I will just move it the 12 sign to the left, so I'll be solving my cross to the left and put this 3 dial down, this one is up, and solve this pin to this, that these two will be same. After this I will just put this dial down and put this dial up and solve these two to this. After this I will put this dial down and this dial up and solve this 3 to this. And after that I will just up this pin while keeping this one up and solve this 4 dials to this. And after that I will just move all 4 pins up, this one up, this 4 up, to direct to this 12. And I will do this flip and I will just follow the same pattern for this back cross. This one up, match this dial to this, down, this one up, match this 2 dial to this, down, this one up, match this 3 dial to this again up, these 2 are up now, these 2 are down, match these 4 dials to this. And now I will just put this down pin up, so now these 3 are up, this is down, and I will just directly go into corner orientation. So I will make this dial same to this corner, then I will just put this up and make this down, then I will just solve this corner, then make this up, make this down. Now I will solve this corner, and after this I will make this up and make this pin down, and I will now solve this corner. And after that I will just put up all 4 pins and just direct it to the 12 o'clock and it will solve the clock. During inspection you can look ahead a bit. Look where this center clock will go for both of the front cross and back cross. So for this case I can see that this dial will be directly opposite compared to this dial, as I first solve this dial to this. And for the back cross I flip like this and I see that this dial needs will be less than directly opposite compared to this clock. Taking these two information I can now do it faster. So here I will solve it, then I will do rest of the solve as same, and when I flip it I already know that I have to move this dial up downside to match to this. You don't need to calculate this point one by one, just take a estimate that which direction you have to go. So I will put this up and in an instant, just after you do the flip, you can match these 2 dial. That can reduce some time. Expanding the same concept during inspection, you can remember the position of 2 clocks for both front and back cross. So for this example, this clock will be directly opposite compared to this, and this clock will be slightly down compared to this. And if I flip for the back cross, here I can see that this cross is already solved with this, and these 2 need to be solved to this. So here I can see that I have to move this dial slightly up to match to this. I didn't remember the number, just knew that I have to move it slightly up. So when I do the solve now, so I just know that this dial will be opposite, so I directly move this down and do the rest of the pin combination same, solve my first cross just like that. I flip it and at the same time I knew that these 2 will be solved with this, so I will just put it off. These 2 will be in down, sorry, up, because I knew these 2 will go that way, clockwise way. So I just put it up and then continue the rest of the solve as same pin order that I used to do. Finally, here are some random tips to improve on your clock. So first, while doing the corners, you will solving, for example, this corner, at the same time you just remember where this dial is looking. This is basically look ahead for clock. And while solving this, you look for this clock, sorry, this dial, and while solving for this, look for this dial. So doing this, you will just reduce the time of moving from one corner to another to know which move to do, and it will save time a lot. Next point is don't just randomly scramble your clock with your hand. Look scrambles from some timers or WC official scrambles and do the scrambles one by one. Doing this will help the accuracy of your fingers to do the +6, -5, whatever combination the scramble might have. During solves, here is a issue that I personally faced a lot, that while moving this one pin up, I accidentally move another pin up, and when I do the move, this dial accidentally get moved, which just mess up my memorization that I do. So try to avoid hitting it with the back finger, so that will reduce the chance of mistake by a lot. Next tip is to set up your clock. Whatever clock you might have, there are lots of videos on YouTube you can find that will help to improve the performance of your clock by a lot. And the final tip is to practice every day at least 10 solve, because clock is something that you don't have to remember any algorithms. It mainly focuses on how much you practice